Yeah, hello, my name is Sophie Geisler. I'm working as a solution-focused consultant on negotiation and solution focus in Mexico City, and especially on mediation systems. Yeah. And the thing is that in Mexico City, they have a huge Supreme Court system, and this Supreme Court system has more than 300,000 cases a year. And that means about 1,600 in average verdicts a day. This is a system that actually attends to more than 25 million people. And of course, this is a huge burden on the justice system. So for a little bit more than 10 years ago, they tried to reduce the the number of cases, and they made a Center for Alternative Justice. This Center for Alternative Justice do mediation between people, and they offer it as a free service to people, which is very interesting. And what happens when they started to use this mediation, this dialogue, where a third party is asking solution-focused questions, is that 98% of all the deals between people that they could actually solutions they developed themselves, 98% were fulfilled. Well, they accomplished them. So only 2% of all these cases actually ends up being in
court?
Yeah, they end up in court, only 2% of them. So for some years ago, we also introduced solution focus to this mediation system. So I have trained more than 150 different mediators or lawyers to use solution focus techniques, and also bailiffs from the court system, and how can they use solution focus in the meeting with citizens when they have to, for an example, move a child from their home, or when people have to leave their home because they couldn't pay. In these conflicts, how do they use solution focus? And solution focus turned out really effective in conflict management. First of all, because it reduces aggressive way of reactions. People that start listening to each other, which is also very interesting. And another thing is that solution focus seems like it makes people feel that the process is actually is justice for people using this. They feel that this is justice. It's not just to get the verdict from a third person, but just creating their own solutions. So this is a very interesting thing happening in Mexico just right now. And why is this so effective? Why is solution focus so effective? I've tried to observe what is it that makes a difference with solution focus. And one of the things that really makes a difference is that solution focus is trying to is not looking for causes and guilt in the conflict, but is actually identifying resources and identifying what to build on, and trying to help people make clearer what is it that they want. And that is a huge difference, because usually when people try to find causes and guilty ones, conflict escalates. But when they identify resources and what works and what they want, and they start listening to each other, they do progress instead of just making the conflict more profound. And another thing that is very interesting with the use of solution focus is how you can integrate imagination and imagination in this way of working out solutions. Usually in mediation techniques, conventional mediation techniques, it's not very common to use imagination, because we have to deal with realistic solutions, because we're talking about a court system. But with solution focus, you can use imagination in a new way, and you can actually end up with very realistic solutions from unrealistic ideas. For an example, just to give an example, that I worked with a little group of policemen that were very frustrated and had a conflict with a human rights organization. And they said, no, what we want is to change the human rights because we want to be able to shoot people in the head instead of following all these procedures of human rights and shooting people first in the leg. And that's not really a realistic solution, is that? So in a solution-focused way, you can ask, okay, and if you are allowed to do that, what would be the difference for you? And they said, oh, that is very clear, then we will not have a main witness in court. And that would help us, because usually every time we have to go to court, citizens, they bring the very expensive lawyers and very good ones, and we don't have anybody on our side. So what they did was actually to land an idea, a very realistic idea, that what they wanted was a better defense from the situation or the institution they worked for. It was not shooting people in the head, but allowing them to imagine what would be the difference. They found out that actually what they wanted was better lawyers. It's just one way to use solution focus to create and build solutions in very complicated situations. So, yeah, no, it's okay.
I start